Hi everyone, welcome to Dux-Soup. I'm already playing with my tech. I'm hoping you can all see me. Let me introduce myself. I'm Jo Henderson, one of the members of the marketing team at Dux-Soup. Some of you may have seen me before, but for those of you who haven't, and you haven't been on our sessions before, then a very warm welcome to you. We run 2 webinars a month, so we run one every 2 weeks, and they're always focused on LinkedIn outreach and how users can get more out of their lead generation activity by using Dux-Soup. If you still haven't tried Dux-Soup, then obviously I think you have to, and I will send a free trial link out for everybody in the chat shortly. So a few points to note before we get started. You, our lovely audience, you're all on mute, but I know you'll have heaps of questions. So just add them into the questions box as they pop into your head. I'll answer as many as I can as we go through, and the ones that I can't answer, I'll put to Giles at the end. So make sure you stick around. Our sessions are always recorded. We'll email them over to those who have attended a few hours after the session is finished. And of course, all of our sessions can be found on the website. So if you haven't taken a look already, head to our webinar pages, but after this session, of course, to get your hands on all of our previous recordings. So let's talk about today's session. Whether you work for yourself, for a corporate giant, or anywhere in between, based on the fact that you've joined us today, the chances are you either already look after more than one client, or you're planning to do so in the near future. Not only does Dux-Soup allow you to automate your outreach activities via LinkedIn, it can also help you do so on behalf of multiple LinkedIn profiles, which means your life has just got a whole lot easier. So let me hand you over to Giles, our head of Making Life Easier, and he can get the session underway.
Thanks, Jo, for that. No, nice new job title. I like that one.
Yeah.
Hello and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone, wherever you may be in the world. And thank you once again for joining us in the latest of our series of free webinars. For those who maybe haven't noticed, I was away for the last webinar, so I've managed to skip one of them. Enjoying my summer holiday. But for anybody who's new to these, my name is Giles Garnett. I'm officially Head of Professional Services, but I may adopt that new job title here at Dux-Soup. And I've been presenting these webinars for Dux-Soup for, coming up to 4 years now. As Jo's already mentioned, we're going to be looking at how we manage multiple LinkedIn profiles and just sort of going through how we can make that as simple as possible. Jo's going to monitor the live chat, the questions, if you've got further questions, you can always reach out to our support team if required. I think we should probably crack on and skip through into the content of the webinar. Keep your questions coming in, and we'll try and give plenty of time for questions at the end, because this is one of those topics where I think actually there's more value in those interactions with the questions, because sometimes people have got very specific cases and some specific questions. Okay, so first of all, very briefly, in case anybody's not aware, what is Dux-Soup? It's a Chrome extension which is also compatible with other Chrome-based browsers. You can use it to mimic human behavior on the LinkedIn platform. That's the free version of LinkedIn, the Sales Navigator version, or the Recruiter platform. There's 2 different paid versions of Dux-Soup. There's a Pro version and a Turbo version. You can see all the feature sets if you go to our website, dux-soup.com. You basically select the list of data from LinkedIn that you want Dux-Soup to process, and then you get Dux-Soup to run your chosen activities against that list. Dux-Soup is designed to mimic human behavior, and we find that's the best way of keeping your LinkedIn account safe. And you can have a look at all of these things that I've just mentioned on all the articles, the blog posts, etc., if you go to our website. So let's crack on with why you might be wanting to manage multiple LinkedIn accounts. Why would you be doing it for? You might be managing all of your team members. You might be managing it for clients. You may be doing it for your executive team, your management team, or maybe you've got multiple businesses and you're running multiple personas in LinkedIn. There's several cases that I've spoken to people recently of that situation. There's lots of different reasons why you want to have multiple accounts running in parallel under control of one person, but these are just a few examples. Once you know that you need to run multiple accounts, what sort of platform are you going to do that on? You can do it on all sorts of different platforms, and the key is essentially, as long as you can run Chrome or a Chrome-based browser, the desktop version, and as long as you can be connected to the internet, and it's the up-to-date version of Chrome. If you're running something that's running on Windows XP, you're going to have problems. But no, examples that I see, people running things on their existing laptop, have it running, running maybe 2 or 3 accounts running in the background on their laptop. Some people use a Chromebook, a low-cost example, a low-cost solution. Chromebooks are relatively affordable. Even more cost-effective, perhaps, is a Raspberry Pi. As you can see there, the illustration there. Very, very low cost. There's a little bit more technical setting up required when you do that, but that's all documented in a blog post that we've got on our website as well. Maybe you've got an old desktop computer or an old laptop, but you could also, if you're wanting to really scale up, you could also use what we call a VPS, or a virtual private server, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can realize these solutions. As I said, yeah, an existing device or a spare laptop, low-cost alternative, Chromebook Pi, 24/7 availability and real scalability. That's where you would look at a VPS solution. And VPS suppliers, I mean, there are literally thousands of them. Some of the ones that I know people do use are Amazon Lightsail, Lightsail, AWS, or maybe TransIP. There's a number of other different providers that we're aware of that our customers use. Most of them are tried and tested, and it just depends on what your budget is as to where you then need to target. When you're setting up Dux-Soup and you're running multiple LinkedIn accounts, basically you need to think one Chrome profile per LinkedIn account. So in other words, one browser window effectively, but you can have multiple windows open under one Chrome profile, but I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute when I come on to do the live demo. Then you need one Dux-Soup license per Chrome profile. So one Dux-Soup license per LinkedIn account. And then Dux-Soup is then, that account is always mimicking the activity on behalf of that single LinkedIn account. Now, we've also got options then with regards whether you subscribe monthly or annually, and there's also, there are savings to be had if you go down the annual subscriptions, or indeed the team plans as well. We have the team account, which helps you to coordinate your collaborative approach with regards to your campaigns, and we'll come on to exactly what that means a little bit later. We also have some agency plans as well, so there's all sorts of options available, and you can see all of the pricing. It's all transparent on our website, and you automatically see discounts applied as you scale up as well. So think about that. If you've got maybe 6 LinkedIn accounts to manage, you will need 6 Chrome profiles and 6 Dux-Soup licenses, for example. Very, very straightforward to set up, and we'll walk through that. Very easy to set up a Chrome account. We'll show you how to do that in a second. Oh, blimey, and I've got to the end of the slides already, so I better get into the live demo, hadn't I? Right, so hopefully everyone can see my screen. Very quickly, if anybody who's on the webinar has not reached out and contacted me before on LinkedIn, you're very welcome to do so. This is my LinkedIn page. Feel free to ping me a connection request. I'm very happy to interact with people. Just mention Dux-Soup in your connection request. And yeah, I'm happy to engage with you accordingly. This is me on LinkedIn anyway, so you can go and find me. Hopefully you can find me fairly easily. Many of my colleagues are also available on LinkedIn as well. So that's me on LinkedIn. Now I'm logged on in this particular Chrome environment with this particular Chrome login. You can see my Gmail account there. Now I can get my Dux-Soup license. Here's my Dux-Soup account here. I've got my Dux-Soup Turbo, and if I go into let's go to my Dux Dash, that's probably the best place to go. We can then see here that my Chrome account here, there you are, my gdgarnett@gmail.com is linked here to this particular Dux-Soup account, and everything I do is linked to this account here in LinkedIn. So that's my LinkedIn environment and my Dux-Soup environment running under this particular Chrome account. Now, if I wanted to run a second account in parallel, and I would set this up on whichever device I'm deciding to run this, I can then go to, for example, I've got a different Chrome account here called Dux-Soup. So if I open that one there, we can go in here and we can see, there you are, there's my Gmail account, ducksoupdemo@gmail.com. And here I can now log into a different LinkedIn account. Now I don't have a second LinkedIn account to log into here, but then I can also subscribe to or sign into another Dux-Soup account here. Now this one I've not got set up at the moment, but I could then go in and set that up here accordingly. I've got the starter version here at the moment. And then if I wanted to run another one, for example, I've got here a third one here, which is this one here, which is set up against my Dux-Soup email address, and we can see here again, I can log into a different LinkedIn account here. I can have everything running there, and if I go to my Dux dash here, we can see here my profile. This particular license is assigned to this email address, this Chrome account. It's very, very simple to set up and add more Chrome accounts. And there's a couple of different things that you just need to consider when you do it. You have to have access to an email address in order to do that. And you need to make sure that you're setting it up. And if I go in here and I just hit add here, let's just go in and set one up while we're going through the demo. So here we are, set up my new Chrome profile. I'm going to press sign in, and I'm going to press create account, and I'm just going to say personal use. There we are. Oh, we're in Dutch, so let's change that to English. That might be better for everybody. There we go. So now I could put in here, what's my first name? We're going to call it Dux, and we're going to call the surname Dux as well. There we go, Dux. Put in a birth date here. You don't have to put in anything specific because there's no check done. So I'm going to put in 01/01 1980. Go. Simple as that. And now I can create a Gmail account if I want to. You see here it suggests some emails, some addresses there, or I can use an existing email account. I don't have to create a Gmail account in order to do this. I can use an existing email. And here, for example, I could do 12345 at Dux-Soup.com. And I could set up against that. So if, for example, you've got a catch-all domain, an email address, for example, you could put in, whatever you want at yourdomain.com or wherever you are. So you have then the options there to do that. Let's go back a second. Hit next. Dux 20 on there. And then I would just need to put in a password and do all of that sort of stuff that way. I can set up as many Chrome accounts as I want that way. Very, very straightforward. And then basically I can run all of those accounts in parallel. Now, one thing to remember is that those windows need to remain open. In order for Dux-Soup to mimic the clicks of the mouse on the screen, you have to keep your Chrome windows open. If you minimize them to the bottom of the screen, Dux-Soup will go into pause mode and will not carry out your activities. So that's something to remember. And you've also got the option then as to whether you're running pro accounts or turbo accounts. You can decide when they're active. You remember you've got it here under your Dux-Soup options. If we go into the options, under the planner here, you can decide when you're happy for activities to run. One of the things that I often see people doing, if they've got true scaling up here, maybe they're running 15 accounts on a VPS. What I see them then doing is they'll be running, for example, rather than having them all running at the same time, they'll have some sort of dovetailing. So they'll run for 3 hours and then off for 3 hours, and they maybe won't have all 15 active at once. They will overlap the activities with some of them and run it that way, so that, remember that there is a limiting factor with hardware. Chrome is quite a memory hungry environment. If you're running Chrome and Dux-Soup is running, then yeah, your device will slow down. And that's why, if you're running, for example, more than 2 or 3 accounts, I would recommend then using a separate device to run things on, because you don't want your device to slow down extraordinarily when Chrome is going in and checking for messages, sending out your connection requests, or maybe your campaign messages. It all depends on what you're scaling up to do and how you're wanting to do that, and also how many you're looking at. We've got several customers, for example, they're running, a lot of accounts. They're running upwards of 50 accounts, and in those cases they're running maybe 2 or 3 VPS environments where they're running maybe 20 on each server. I've also got customers, for example, who are only maybe running 1 or 2 accounts, but they're running it on some old hardware or a spare device. So they've got their day-to-day laptop that they're working on, and then in another part of the office they've got their old device, which we can sit there and just tick away in the background, and periodically they'll go over and check it. It depends upon your working situation and your requirements. There are things to consider. Do you need it to run 24/7? If not, use a local device. If you need it to run 24/7, I would err towards using something like a VPS. If multiple people need to access it from different parts of the world, maybe you've got a virtual assistant. In that case, I would recommend using a VPS, because then everybody can log in there and it's always available and it's always running, and it does also then doesn't change the geographical location. You just set it up in the place that you want it to be set up. So those are the things that you do need to consider. The different variations I've seen, yeah, as I've mentioned earlier, Chromebooks, Raspberry Pis, MacBooks, Windows laptops. Probably the most common is a Windows laptop, but even Linux machines, that kind of stuff. Anywhere where you can run Chrome, or maybe the vanilla version, the Chromium browser, anywhere you can then access the Chrome Play Store, install Dux-Soup, and then just link your appropriate license to it. Maybe we'll come on to some of the questions around license administration during the Q&A. But all of these things make it very, very straightforward to scale up and truly realize the power of LinkedIn. I mean, the LinkedIn, as we talk about regularly, it's a massive resource. If you've got a team of people and you're needing to manage lots and lots of accounts, then yeah, this is the way to do it. You just literally layer up however many Chrome accounts you require, you open them all up, and then you have all of the things set up there. The great thing about a Dux-Soup team account, and let's go back to that one there, that one. We go here into the Dux-Soup homepage a second. What we have is we go into the team, into the pricing section here. If you're looking at a team account, the team versions here, this is where you can then set up collaborative campaigns across your team. Effectively, then, if you're using Dux-Soup Turbo, how that looks is we'll see here under my drip campaigns, I can define things then as a team campaign that becomes visible across your team, across everybody, and it also prevents you from accidentally reaching out to the same people with the same campaign messages. So that's the benefit of having the team thing there. You also have then within the team environment then the ability to define specific signatures as well. So you can always sign off with a personalized message at the bottom of each campaign message. So yeah, that's also part of that as well. So you see here _SIG, that would then pull out your signature, as it were, against each of your campaign messages if you define that as a team campaign. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. I know there's not been a huge amount of content there with regards how to use Dux-Soup, but it's more about understanding the mechanism you need to go through to run multiple accounts in parallel. You see here I've got my 3 Chrome accounts. I've got this one here, which is that one. I've got my second one here, which is the starter version, which I've not actually got my Dux-Soup license there other than just the starter version. And then I've got this one here, which is that one. I can't remember now. Which one was that? No, that's that one. Let me go back to this one. There we are. That's the one there. This one here, where I've got my second Turbo license running there. And again, I've got access to my drip campaigns. I can run everything like I normally would here within this environment. But the most important thing to remember when you're running multiple accounts, Dux-Soup will only run when your device is on, when Chrome is open, and when the browser is not minimized, and when you've said in the planner for things to be active. On that note, I'm going to say to Joe, right, keep an eye out for the questions. People do get your questions in, because I want to give plenty of time for people to ask questions. But while I'm doing that, I'm just going to nip back to the slides a second to mention a couple of things that are coming up in the future. In 2 weeks' time, there we go. That one. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to be talking about Dux-Soup with HubSpot CRM. For anybody who's not aware, we do have a direct integration with HubSpot. It's one of our most popular and well-used integrations. So we're going to just have a review of that, walk through how to set it up, make sure people are familiar with how everything works, go through some of the terminology, look at how you can truly enrich your CRM data within HubSpot using Dux-Soup. And LinkedIn, of course. So that's something that's coming up in 2 weeks' time. But then 2 weeks after that, and this is one to be aware of. Hopefully, this is the next slide. We've got a guest speaker, and please note the different time. It's a different time to usual. It's a couple of hours earlier than normal, because inconveniently, our guest speaker lives in a completely different part of the world, and apparently he'd like some sleep. But yeah, some people these days, they're so selfish, aren't they? So yeah, that's something to be aware of. That's in 4 weeks' time. Tyrone has presented 2 or 3 webinars for us in the past, and they're not to be missed. There's always some absolute gems in there. Tyrone is incredibly engaging and a very experienced presenter and speaker. So he's really worth making sure you get that one in your agendas now, because yeah, you don't want to miss that one. Let's go to that one. Joe, what's happening on the wires?
What's happening on the wires? Well, we've got a few questions here. There's a load coming in as well. So James has asked, is there a limit to the number of Chrome accounts you can have?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I've never reached a limit, and I've certainly, I'd say, I've got some of my some clients who are using upwards of 50. Now it depends upon how you manage those with regards to the email addresses. Whether you're using Gmail accounts or whether you're using a catch-all email under your company domain, perhaps. Yeah, it's just up to you how you manage that, how you make sure that you keep that under control. But I've not reached a limit as to how many Chrome accounts you can have. It just purely depends. There'll be a limit as to how much your hardware will be able to support, because eventually your device will slow down, potentially, if you run too many at once.
Okay, good tip. Joe, oh, that's like me. How long do you have to keep the windows open for? So she says, does it carry on if you lock your screen or if your laptop goes on standby?
No, if your screen goes on, if it locks or goes on standby or energy saver, whatever, then Dux-Soup goes into snooze mode, because it needs the processor and everything to be active in order to process, or in order to mimic those clicks of the mouse. Sounds like a bit of a catchphrase, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you need to turn your screen locks off and all of that kind of stuff, and your standby mode.
Energy saving, whatever. Yeah.
Larry has asked, do we need to purchase a new Dux-Soup license for each LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, each LinkedIn profile you're managing requires a Dux-Soup license, correct, yes.
Okay.
That's especially important with Turbo, especially when you're doing sort of campaigns. So yeah, that is the optimal way of running things, is one Dux-Soup license per LinkedIn account. And if you scale up, if you're scaling up and you go over 10 Turbo licenses, you then get a discount on every license over and above the 10, and there's scale discounts applied depending on how much you scale up.
Yeah, good stuff. Justin has asked, would a client have to give you their LinkedIn login information so you can use Dux-Soup on their account?
Yes, you need to be able to log into the LinkedIn account that you are managing, absolutely. Now you could, of course, if you're doing that on a VPS, you could give them access to the VPS and get them to log in, so you don't have that detail. But there's usually a one-time 2-factor authentication code required when you first log on from a new device.
Yeah.
So you need to do that in collaboration with your client, customer, or whoever's account you're doing it on behalf of. Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, you get all the fun and shenanigans that goes with.
Or get them locked out. That's
trying to get this. Yeah.
Never the intention.
You don't advocate that. Jenna, I think it's Jenna. Can I still use one Gmail account if I want to run 3 Chrome accounts?
No, you need to have a separate Chrome account for each, and a Chrome account is always linked to an email address, whether that's a Gmail account or your own email address. You don't, as I said earlier, you don't have to create a new Gmail account, but yeah, you will need 3 separate Chrome accounts, and they will each be linked to a different email address.
Okay.
That's email or Gmail address, I should say.
Okay, right, you're going to have to bear with me now, because those are the ones I'd already looked at, and now we've got a whole load of heap of others that I've not pre-read. What are some examples of additional profiles to create? If you have a regular person-based profile, a regular person, I like that, and want to expand your reach, should you create a second person-based account or something else? I think that's asking perhaps about dummy accounts, maybe?
Yeah, that's a very, very, very much a grey area. Not something I would recommend, to be honest. I've seen a handful of occasions where people have maybe got 2 accounts or maybe 3 accounts, where they've got very different businesses and they've got very different sort of, they're running parallel businesses, and they're sort of like maybe set up a dummy account to reflect different levels of experience or different industry experience in a particular field, which is specific to a different business. It is specifically against LinkedIn's terms of use to have more than 1 LinkedIn account associated with 1 individual. So just be very, very aware of that and do that very carefully. It doesn't take very long to go onto various websites and look at, for example, dummy LinkedIn or aged LinkedIn accounts. Do that at your own risk. Personally, I've always seen it very much a case of, if you need to set up a new account, do it against somebody that you know, do it in collaboration with somebody and then do it with them and build it up. Some people have no interest in being LinkedIn, so there's yeah, okay, you can use the basis of my information in order to build a LinkedIn account, no problems at all. But I personally would handle that very much with care. You can have up to 30,000 first-degree connections on LinkedIn, and if you scale up over time, if you gradually build your network, there's no reason why you need to. Usually, there's not many reasons why you would need to have more than 1 LinkedIn account associated with 1 individual.
Okay. Let me run through these. So we've got any plans for Zoho CRM integration? And similar query about Go High Level.
Go High Level? Oh, that one's coming up again, is it? Yeah, please do go to our user suggestions page, for which I will find the URL and stick it in the chat while you're asking the next question. Do upvote things on our feedback page, because that is the place that they will get those attention, that will get the attention. We're looking at potentially an ATS. There's a couple been looked at that we're looking at with regards. That's an application tracking system, in case anybody's wondering. Very much looking at recruitment. There we are. I've just stuck the link in there. Upvote, comment, because the more traction these things get, then the more attention it gets from the developer. But no, we don't have anything firm in the offing at the moment with regards integrations.
Okay, so that question was from, I think, Legend. What a great name. The Zoho question was from Griffin. Thanks, Griffin. Alex Barron. Hi, Alex. No limit, but you need to add phone number in, and after X amount of Google accounts, you will have to use another telephone number. Is that relating to the Chrome accounts, I think?
Oh, okay, yes, we have here. Yeah, I've seen that one before, but there's basically no verification required against it, as far as I remember, and you can easily find GSM numbers online very easily, which fulfill exactly that requirement. Basically, setting up a virtual number and doing that way. I've certainly seen that. I mean, it may have been Alex I spoke to about that about 6 months ago, perhaps.
Yeah, possibly. Thanks, Alex. Please send the link for the sign up for Tyron's webinar. So I'm going to put that onto the website next week. So keep a lookout for it. Okay. And you've mentioned it's going to be on the 5th. Yep, that's right time, right date. Excellent. And that was Kevin. So Kevin, keep a lookout. Elizabeth has said, I use Outlook email for my business. Is it compatible with Chrome?
Outlook email for... I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're using Outlook email, then as long as you're using, I mean, if you're using Microsoft Outlook, that's a separate platform to the browser. Chrome, absolutely. You can still use your email address to set up a Chrome account. I think that's what the question is. As long as you've got access to that email address, then you can set up a Chrome account against that email address. Absolutely, yes. I didn't catch who that was from.
That was from Elizabeth.
Okay.
We've got, I think, Narcissus. Now, Narcissus is asking, are we doing an integration with Salesforce? So Giles has just put, in fact, Salesforce, I'll let you answer, Giles.
we don't have a direct integration with Salesforce. We have Pipedrive and HubSpot. No problem. You'll get to do the test again later, Joe.
So yeah, put that one in the requests feature then, I think.
In the feature request, I think it's on there already. Just upvote it. You can build an integration yourself through Zapier or Make. We have the open API if you've got Dux-Soup Turbo. All of these platforms you can integrate, and if you need help doing it, our support team's available to assist you. And if you want to build it with us, you can also set up good moment to mention a booster or a technical session where we can help you with those sorts of things as well, where we can go through and help you set up your webhooks and everything if you're looking at some sort of a custom integration. We've got some users, for example, who use HubSpot and Pipedrive, where they use our integration, and then they've still got webhook based supplementary information going in there as well. So, you know, whilst we've got these direct integrations, people also set up their own stuff alongside that to meet their exact requirements. So it depends on your technical capabilities, but yes, we've got a webinar and a very good blog post on how to build an integration with Salesforce, a very good step-by-step guide already there on the website.
Already there. I'm just looking for a link to send somebody. Bear with me, bear with me. I don't mean to sing to everyone, hang on.
No singing today.
We don't want any singing. Robin, I'm just pinging you a link. You're the one that made me sing. Do we get discount with Dux-Soup when we have multiple accounts?
Yeah, if you go above 10 licenses of Turbo, then you get scaled discounts applied. Just go to the website, go into the whichever one you're looking at, and just type in the number of licenses. I think the drop-down box goes down to 10, but if you manually type in however many you want, you'll then see exactly the pricing according to where you are in your appropriate currency. And if needs be, you can also always reach out to our support team, and they will give you, direct quote as to exactly how much it will cost for each license, whether that's monthly or annually, agency, team, whatever it is you're looking at. And if, of course, you require some sort of a demo or introduction, we also do offer a 20-minute demo call for anybody who's new to Dux-Soup or wanting to look at the possibilities. Just reach out to our support team; they will send you the link.
Perfect. Just typing another response. Maximum daily outreach for one LinkedIn account.
Maximum daily outreach for one LinkedIn account. Okay, that's a rabbit hole around account safety. What we'll do is we will use that as an opportunity to
link to their blog.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and show you where the blog posts are. So here under our blog posts, hopefully everybody can still see my screen. This blog post here, using LinkedIn automation safely. This blog post here, which I'm going to stick straight into the chat. There we go. Explains everything we know about keeping your account safe on LinkedIn. It's built up with the best part of 10 years experience of Dux-Soup having been available on the Chrome Web Store. We've got tens of thousands of users, and everything we know is in this blog post regarding numbers, keeping the account safe. There is no one answer as to that question, and that's why I'm sort of rambling a bit here, because I can't give you a number. It depends on how old your LinkedIn account is. It depends on how big your first degree network is. It depends on how well established you are on LinkedIn, how much do you do on LinkedIn. It depends on whether you've got a free account or a paid account. There's all sorts of different factors to take into consideration, but that article there, have a read of it. And actually, I think we've got in the planning a webinar to cover this within the next month or two, I think, Joe, if I remember correctly.
Safety one, I think, is in October. I think it might be after Tyron's.
And end of September, maybe. Yeah.
September, October, I think.
It's definitely there. So we'll be providing the latest and greatest information, of course, in that. But this blog post that I put there, we do keep that up to date. We review it regularly based upon everything that's happening. You know, LinkedIn is a live environment. It's changing all the time. We're continually learning as well. So have a read of that and reach out to our support team if you're stuck.
Lovely, lovely. We've got a couple of others, Giles. Just bear with me. Right. I can't remember what the start of this question was, but I've got the end, so it may or may not make any sense. It says share key, but you can't share it with yourself, can you? Does that make any sense to you? That's from Sean.
Can you say that again?
It says share key, but you can't share it with yourself, can you? Was that on the Chrome? Never mind. If that makes no obvious sense, then we'll leave it. Sorry, Sean.
It could be to do with the license key of Dux-Soup.
Oh, hang on, I found the rest of the question. I had one Dux account and switched to, oh, okay, right. Sean, I'll answer you separately. I think the best thing to do is get in touch with info@Dux-Soup, please. Let's do that one. Do we need a real employee for each profile?
That's a personal decision for you.
Yeah, I think
I refer to the answer I gave some time ago with regards, the grey area of fake, effectively LinkedIn accounts. Yeah. It's up to you. Personally, I would always have a LinkedIn account running against a genuine person, but
we've also got, will we get this session recorded? Yes, always. So all the sessions will come to you within a few hours of the session ending, and then you can always go onto our website to kind of play them back if you can't find.
Anyone who's subscribed will get the link. It's within 4 or 5 hours usually. Occasionally it takes a little bit longer, depends on how cooperative the go-to servers are, but anyone who's subscribed gets the link automatically, and then it also becomes widely broadcast effectively available through the website anyway on the YouTube channel.
Can you integrate 2 Dux-Soup accounts to one Pipedrive account? This is from Ines. I'm not sure that's...
Integrate 2 Dux-Soup accounts into one Pipedrive account.
I guess this is also for multiple client management then, perhaps.
I'd have to check that one, but I'm trying to think why you would do that, because effectively you'd still want to know who the owner of that contact was as to where that person has come from. I think you can, but I'm not 100% sure. I will need to double check that. It was from Edith, yeah?
Ines, E-N-E-S. I'm going to say Ines.
Okay, we'll double check that one. I've got a feeling you can, but I would need to double check.
Okay. I have a team of 4 using Turbo individually. I want to integrate to receive connections and send messages back to the team. Should I use Dux Team for that?
Yes, if you use Dux-Soup, if you use the team, if you convert to a team account, basically a team license, then you'll all basically have one license key that you use. You allocate those license keys to those users, and then you also get to see consolidated statistics under your Dux-Dash. So whoever the team administrator is will be able to see overall statistics for the team. Let me see if I can find that here under the Dux-Dash. So we see here team funnel. Now I don't have a team set up, so I can't see the team funnel here, but effectively under the team funnel you would see the same thing as in the funnel flow, and you would see that consolidate across your entire team per team team campaign, I should say. The text of your campaigns will be shared as well, so you'll be able to have a consistency of approach, and also you won't accidentally reach out to the same people with the same campaigns. The only difference there with the team funnel is you don't see the message exchanges because of basically privacy, so you don't get to see the drop down of all the message exchanges per all of your team, but that was what I would recommend there. Absolutely.
Lovely, thank you. Just typing one. I think that's it really. Yeah, I think we're done on the questions.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a quick reminder then. Booster and technical calls. Always happy to engage with people. Book them through the website, through support team. Booster sessions basically designed to get you up and running. Answer sort of how to get up and running, get Dux-Soup up and running, optimize it for your your own situations, depending on what your requirements are. Technical sessions basically focusing more on integrating type stuff, data-driven activities. Could be Zapier, could be Make, could be whatever you want. In 2 weeks' time, Dux-Soup and HubSpot, all of the bits and pieces around that. So it's one of our most popular integrations, and it's a very, very widely used CRM. So hopefully it'll be useful for people. And we've not covered it for quite a while as well. And then in 4 weeks, Tyron, different time, be aware. That's everything from me. It's great to be back. And yes.
Where to be and how to do it.
We've done the questions. I will leave it to Jo to sign off, and I'll speak to everybody in 2 weeks.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Giles. It's nice to have you back. I was away as well, but you know, I kind of missed your smiley face. So it's nice to see you back again, and I'm glad you got back from Madagascar in one piece. So yeah, thanks guys for attending. As we've said, we'll send you the recording later on this evening. Well, in my time zone anyway, and we'll look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in 2 weeks' time. And if I can find the off button, then I will say farewell.
Bye.
Bye.